What's up, everyone? So we didn't get to stream today. I had a bunch of work going on, so I decided instead of doing our normal voiceover league, I'd play through a live league. So that's what I'm doing now. Got everything set up to record, and we're just gonna go ahead and run into this league with some Grixis Shadow with these Underworld Breaches. Test card for today: basic island over the basic mountain. I know it doesn't seem like a very big change, but I think yesterday we played through a league and ran into four Blood Moon decks in one league, and the basic island allowing us to cast Ledger Shredders, Spell Pierce, Drown in the Lock, all of our sideboard counter spells through a Blood Moon without needing Giganta to come down and live is a pretty big difference. So we're gonna see how this plays out. Other than that, main deck pretty stock. I'm kind of happy with where it's at. I still don't like Ledger Shredder. I don't think it's ultimately going to be the threat that we need, but it does have some good synergy with Underworld Breach. Allows us to be a little more land light and still, most of the time, not get screwed. So we'll just go ahead and jump in, see what happens. That's about it. If you're looking for Grixis Shadow with Underworld Breaches, which I think everybody's kind of at least trying out right now, then hopefully this league's for you. Got to deal with me finishing off my coffee in the meantime. So we played one league of Grixis yesterday, ended up 4-1. We lost our trophy match. Game 3 of our trophy match to a Jeskai Underworld Breach deck, just like a value breach deck, not the grinding station combo variant. So hand is okay. Not a great hand against burn. Got a lot better. Okay. Option number 1, we play out Channeler, Blood Crypt Channeler. Option number 2, Blood Crypt Thoughtseize. Option number 3, tap land. I think I'm liking Blood Crypt Thoughtseize. I'm kind of afraid if I play out a Channeler, they just go land Searing Blaze, and I'm super behind. Multiple creatures is rough. So I'm presumably taking 5 next turn. So I could take Swift Spear, take 7, go to 9, play out a Shadow and a Tarn. Say go. I can take Goblin Guide. I take 7 as well. Swift Spear, Lava Spike. I can take the Lava Spike and take 5, go to 11. That's probably better. 5, go to 9. Assuming that they just play Goblin Guide, Swift Spear here. Typically, creature heavy hands like this are where you have the most trouble with Grixis. So I could get basic Swamp, play Shadow, hold up Bolt. I go to 8. They attack. I block, bolt, go to 7. I'm not dead to 2 burn spells. Yeah, I think that's my best play. That way I can get basic island off the Scalding Tarn and be able to play Drown in the Lock the turn after. Like, my odds of winning this game are not good. We'll see if they go for a spell pre-combat here. Look like they are. There we go. That's lethal. I needed them to not have an instant to buff this Swift Spear. But that's how it goes sometimes. Let's bring in all of our counter magic. He's fine. I like a Turok on the play. All their removal is like white based, and then also attacks through Sanctifier. And like a turn 3 Turok off of a Ragavan or something can be really, really big. Take out some of these slower, grindier cards. Probably keeping 2 Thoughtseize. Shredder's pretty meh. Duration's pretty meh. Got a second iteration. EE mostly causes Sanctifier. Also, the random chance they're playing like Ensnaring Bridge or the 2 mana enchantment. What's it called? The one that pings both players. Roiling Vortex, is that it? Channeler. I don't really want a Channeler. I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle that away. It's like, it's a combination between Channeler itself being like pretty slow. I don't have Delirium, so I'm not protecting it very well. Alright, so Thoughtseize, see what's up. Okay. Rough. Like I said, these creature heavy hands are where we're the weakest. This does not look very good against a hand of all Goblin Guides, Swift Spears, and Eidolons. Especially if I can't find a threat. What do we got? Lightning Bolt. I'd like to pay 2 more for that. So countering the lightning bolt is preventing uh, 1 damage essentially. Stop 3, take 2 extra. Where if I kill one of the creatures, like I'm preventing 2 and taking 3. So, but I believe we are pretty dead. Take a very special draw to get out from here. We've got like drown one of the swift spears. Destroy a swift spear. Yeah, so getting basic swamp wouldn't have mattered. They let it go. So they have another burn spell. Assume that's what this means. Rough one. Rough start to that league. Don't think there's anywhere we really could have played differently. Like it's really hard to throw back a counter heavy hand against burn. You're just like hoping that they don't have a creature heavy draw, and they do. They do. All right. What do we got? River of Runes. Start with swing in, see what you do. Ooh. Eldrazian Taxes. Double Arbiter. Pretty rough with my Polluted Delta. Skyclave Apparitions. The card that like actually does something here. I think I'm just taking the apparition. Arbiter number 1. Pretty good draw there. So let's go pay for Arbiter. Fetch. Blue's not going to be very good against them. We'll keep a Shadow. Already got a creature in the yard, so we don't really need the Delirium. All right. Question is, did they hit the land drop in their one unknown draw? Doesn't look like it. Pretty good one. Back in with our gentleman, play out our shadow, say go. Do find the land. If they play a threat here, I think I have to drown one of these arbiters. Because if I draw a fetch land, I want to be able to fetch. I mean, I guess I can draw. This doesn't really matter too much. You Flicker Wisp. Okay. Bounce around planes. You got it. Now I'll wait till my turn in case I happen to hit like a lightning bolt or unholy heat or something. Back with both of these. Get the Flicker Wisp trade. Yeah, Ragavan, say go. And now I've got third card in their yard, so I can counter Displacer on the way down. Take another shadow because that'll let me attack in with everything, trade off some stuff on board, and then have another threat to follow up. And the hope is that I can attack in here, trade off with the two arbiters, get in 3, play a backup shadow, and they find a land and play Batter Skull, and I just get to spell pierce it and untap with lethal. Archon's fine. Just attacking in with Channeler. I guess I should have attacked first. Attack first. If they block, I can play the land post combat. But it looks like it's not going to matter. That'll be game 1. Onto the board. Dress down's reasonable. Terminate's reasonable. Turok's great. The else is pretty whatever. Spell Pierce is not great. Drown in the Lock and like Underworld Breach are kind of sketchy if I expect them to be bringing in a bunch of rest in pieces. Thoughtseize is also less good, but I think it's kind of necessary. One more cut. Cut a Ragavan on the draw. They got a bunch of 2-drops to stand in the way. No lands. lands we want to see. Okay. Just throw back Shadow, Shadow. Call it a day. That. All right. What do you got? Give me like a Stoneforge Mystic. Ah. Bear. Bear. The old Stone Rain myself for a second white source for Sanctifier A. Placer. All right. So we get to make the first attack for whatever that's worth. I'm gonna say, are they gonna Solitude my 1/3 Ledger Shredder? Field of Ruin me, sure. Love to find second land or third land so I can double spell. On land. All right. Sure as heck not blocking with Ledger Shredder, so I might as well swing with them. Yep. And we find the land. Okay. Let's iteration. I want another land, so I'm gonna keep that. Play Bauble. Breach doesn't do a lot for me here. Ditch a land, keep the Ragavan around so I can double spell next turn if I want to. Oh yeah. Okay. Drown kills Germ token. Or Flicker Wisp. Go ahead and get the germ off the board. Last card, I Gonjo. Oof. That one was not on my radar. Old I Gonjo. Alright. Guess we just have to pass here. We can Unholy Heat the Thalia plus Drown. The backup Thalia. Alright, at least now they can't attack with Flicker Wisp or Sanctifier. Not that that does a ton for me. Go to game 3. Oh. Sanctifier. Brought in Dress Down, so it's not like I wasn't somewhat prepared for Sanctifier. And like I don't really know if I can afford to just like forward out all of my breaches just because I know Sanctifier is a card. But at the same time, like if their plan is Sanctifier and um not Rest in Peace, then Drown gets a lot better. Just kind of mess around with sideboarding a little bit. Okay. But now we've got turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 we find another fetch land, we can Shadow. If we don't find a fetch land, we can bolt ourselves Shadow. Double Solitude, March of Otherworldly Light, Flicker Wisp. Alright. 1 Solitude down. Sanctifier on Vec off the top. Boy. Okay. Gotta wait a minute for that, unfortunately, because of March of Otherworldly Light, but something. Down a shadow. I kind of assume they just go for March the Shadow, hold the Solitude, but stranger things have happened. Yep. Okay, this could be okay spot for me. So I need to get rid of the Sanctifier before I try to kick the Turok. Because right now I'm going to 8, getting 2 cards out of hand, and then I'd just be EEing away my Turok. Do I want to get Shadow down right now? Don't mind getting Shadow down. Go to 6. Think they're gonna feel to ruin me? Do I care if they feel to ruin me? Okay. See if I can get them to Solitude and Response. Yep. All right. All right. So this is like a decent spot for me. Yeah, I'm just holding on to that, right? By EE for 1. Pay the Thalia tax. Blow up all the 2 drops. Again with Shadow. Go. And I'm actually presenting lethal this turn. Obviously not so much now that they've displacered, but Or now that they have Displacer available. Alright, so Blink Shadow, which means Ragavan gets an attack in. Stoneforge doesn't do anything for me. Exile. Yeah, so it immediately comes back. Good to note, so that if I want to wait until like they're in step to dress down, the shadow just immediately comes back. I don't have to worry about them like having blink shenanigans. All right, so they have to have a March of Otherworldly Light here, or they die. So can't blink the shadow on my turn. It becomes a 13/13 with dress down. All right. Whew. Good one. Good match. Always feels good to beat up on taxes. Wouldn't even really call that beating up. Like, did quite a bit of sweating there. But historically, that's been a not good matchup for shadow variants between our need to like fetch and shock aggressively into Leonin Arbiter, Thalia against a deck that's low land count, the pro red, pro black dude, Sanctifier on Vec. Like, a lot of stuff that can go wrong in that matchup. Got a Blood Crypt. Got a Ragavan. We got got Gamma Grief. All right. Take what you want. Yep. Usually not a fan of bobbling on our main phase, but I would like to find like a lightning bolt, which we've got 4 in the deck to be able to kill this grief on their turn. So it's an extenuating circumstances, Mishra's Bauble. Vault sees a. I think there's an algorithm bug when you crack a bauble, go to like your opponent's turn or something, and put bauble on the stack. Because the amount of times that I shuffle away something that I see with bauble and redraw that exact same thing is astronomically higher than it should be. It should be like 3 polluted deltas in 52 cards. So a 1 in 17 chance of hitting one. I'm pretty sure it happens a lot more often than that. Ah, got him. Shadow would be a good draw. Handler, not the greatest. So Shadow does not race this now. Hmm. The grief. I know that they get to have my bolt now, but the grief is the faster clock. If I had known I was going to see Drown in the Lock off the top, then it would have been better to bolt the Dolthy, uh, take the Drown, because then I would be able to kill the Dolthy with the bolt, draw the Drown, kill the grief, but I didn't know that's how that was going to play out. So I think my only out is like expressive iteration into removal spell plus shadow, something like that. They've got a lightning bolt exiled already. So if they decide to just cast that, if they just go upkeep, bobble trigger on the stack, sack the Dolphy, cast the bolt, nothing I can do about it. And that's what they should have done. Because I would have had no cards in hand. They had the bolt. Really, I was going to say, I really hope they don't let me find some way out of this. Iteration off the top. Quite. Also, should have added Gigantha to my hand last turn, but I kind of wanted to bluff like I was drawing a Drown in the Lock. Their hand's got to be like Fury or another Grief. Dolphy. Okay. One of those expressive iterations. I don't think there's any difference between 2 and 1. Iteration. Okay. Nope. Oh, I thought that would get exiled with Dolphy. I would have done that pre-combat if I'd known it stayed. I thought that one got exiled. Okay. Breach is a pretty good draw here. Don't need a heat. What I need is another drown in the lock. All right. Attack first. So now I go bobble first. Because every bobble can flip over another her card with Channeler. Seas is fine. Bobble again. Or my Channeler. I can't bobble again if I Channeler. I think this is better. Put the enchantment back in the yard. Oh, cast the Thoughtseize. Cast that Thoughtseize. Counter this. In case one of their last cards is a undying effect. This is going to be such a good game to win. Turn 1, Scam a Grief. Leave us with Bobble, 4 lands. And we come back. Okay, so I do want to bolt here. Give myself another Scryed, maybe find another bolt, another Underworld Breach. Bobble doesn't do anything for me. Made sure they didn't have any cards left in their hands. They couldn't do anything else. So, iterations, fantastic draw. Just looking for drown and lock. Like that's my checkmate card. Drown and lock. Here's a shadow. I don't care about the bird. Drown is going to counter literally anything that puts on the or anything that's put on the stack that matters. Counter it. Not slow rolling. Ooh, that was an extremely, extremely nice one to come away with. I thought we were dead 5 times over. Thought these is a lot worse on the draw. I don't like want spell pierce, but I probably need to have it in case of Blood Moon. No, just gonna play with it. I got the basic island this league, so Blood Moon's not as problematic. Still not great. I still don't want to see it, but got some play against it. And again, a big chunk of the reason that I'm playing the basic island this league is one of the leagues we played yesterday on stream was against 4 Blood Moon decks and 5 matchups. So I know people have like it's a story as old as time. People in the shadow community, whether Facebook especially or the Discord or whatever, just saying like, "Oh, you've got plenty of game against Blood Moon. You just have hand disruption and counter spells. Like that's plenty." Not always. I really dislike that notion of like, "Oh, just counter spell it, idiot." Hey, what if you don't have the counter spell? We'll just have the counter spell. What do you mean? What if you don't have the counter spell? Um, throw back and drown. Ravioli, ravioli. Give me the formula. Steam vents. Play our channeler. Play our bauble. Find a land. Technically, I'm gonna keep it because the last thing I want is to like never see a second land. And even if that's not the ideal one, like it does help with Blood Moon. Maybe I get to find like a land that can fetch out my basic swamp next turn with it. Then I can just go like fetch basic swamp, have drown, like channeler. Snapping off that block. They have Scam of Grief right afterwards. Yuck. Yuck. Right? Not the most exciting, but one step at a time. Guess I'm probably gonna need to just like cut some hearses post board. Exile my stuff. I make breach worse. Exile. Go to game 3. Yep. Ooh. We got like Pierce better than Drown on the play. Maybe 2/2. Just go no hearse. I think hearse is like good against exactly Croxa. And it's probably not as good as I want it to be against like everything else. But this is like a good Ragavan hand. Especially if they lead on a Ragavan. If I get to go like Ragavan into bolt your Ragavan, hold up Drown. Great. They have mulligan to 4. If their hand is like land, fury, red card, undying effect, that'd be pretty rough for me, right? Land, fury, undying effect, red card. Okay. Do you have it? EE on 1. Resolves. Another EE off the top. So I can EE their EE here. That's pretty fun. Let's go hit you. Nice EE. Shame somebody played it for 0. Blood Moon here. Carry on. And I'm pretty sure I'm just like attack, never tap off Drown and Lock again. I think that's my game plan from here. Like, I can play a Shredder. That's probably fine. But I'm just never tapping off of Drown and Lock. I just do not want my opponent to be able to resolve something like a Seasoned Pyromancer here. First. Hearse is fine. I don't care about a hearse. Like, I guess it makes drown a little bit worse, but whatevs. Take rest down. No. Let's take terminate, exile dress down, attack. Blood Moon. Scallywag. And we're going to end of turn dress down. Steam vents, that's fine. But we get like the card off of it. They can't get any sort of evoke trigger on their turn. Can't hardcast a Spyro. I guess it can evoke, can hardcast a Spyro, but doesn't really do anything for them. Yep. And we'll go ahead and bolt this while they're tapped out, or while dress down still in play. So if they did decide to do something, get rid of that. Fury Coon. All right. All right. What you got? They did have a Spyro. Agadeem's Awakening. Haven't seen that one in a minute. All right. Let's start with iteration. Shadow to hand. Round to the bottom. Blood Crypt to exile. Shock in. Play Shadow. Ragavan. Oh yeah. They are gonna crew. Okay. I'm pretty okay if they trade Hearse for Fury. Gonna give us the satisfaction, eh? Do I want to just drown this? Not smart on them to not hearse. Because if they had, I could have. If I had like a lightning bolt or a holy heat, I could respond and kill it. So good on them. Well played, as the kids would say. All right, so let's go into turn. Drown in the lock. The Dolphy. They like respond to this with something. I get a Ledger Shredder trigger. I mean, they better respond with something. They're dead on board, so they could have like a lightning bolt from Fury. Maybe that was actually aggressive. I should have thought about the fact that they were dead on board, and that means I just didn't have to do anything. I go to my turn. I carry on as if nothing happened, and we're fine. I mean, they're dead anyway, but it's kind of free there. Let's go. Kill you. Curse. Yep. Kill you. Yeah, because the Dolphy couldn't block. I kind of forgot the Dolphy couldn't block anything. But we should have just gone to our turn, right click, attack all. They've got one, two blockers. I guess they weren't dead on board, were they? Because they could use the Dolphy to crew. But that would have been fine, right? Because I right click, attack all. I've got terminate to kill something. They've got a removal spell. I've got a counter spell. So yeah, they were just like dead to known information. We didn't need to go for the end of turn drown. Like, I don't think it mattered since they only had one mana up. There's not really a lot they can do for one mana that deals with multiple things. But usually when it comes to like identifying whether you made the right line or not, uh, usually if you can do the same or get the same result by doing less, I think that that's usually the correct option. Like doing more gives you a chance to screw up more. It's like not worth the extra risk a lot of the time. All right. Tybalt of the Red Sub. Tybalt of the Red Sub. We've got Ragavan of the Grixis Sub. Or Death Shadow of the sub to Control Freak or the underscore Control Freak at Twitch TV. Shameless plug. Shameless plug is shameless. Speaking of shameless plugs, if you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link down below to not only the Twitch channel if you ever want to come hang out during a live stream, or there's also a link down below to the Control Freak Discord where you're more than welcome to come hang out. Talk about all sorts of variations of Shadow, sometimes talk about what we're playing on stream. Ruin Crab. We're just gonna terminate you. And we're gonna go ahead and bobble in case we happen to draw into like a spell pierce or something that we want to cast. Another crab's a little unfortunate. Not playing the land before the crab makes me think drown in the lock. Or not playing the crab before the land. You know what I mean. Like, I'm a little bit surprised. Not at them having drown. Like, we called the drown. I'm a little bit surprised that they would use the drown on use the drown on the Ragavan there. I don't want a Ledger Shredder, honestly. Like, I don't know if the Ragavan's really doing a lot that you care about. Like, obviously the mana advantage is something, but it's not just some insane, oh my god, I can't possibly beat a Ragavan. Alright, Double Crab Odawara. Seems reasonable. Go. Iteration. Shadow to hand. Watergrave to the bottom. Bobble to exile. Play bobble. On another land. Don't want another land. Bobble ourselves. Okay. I think I'm okay with just like go to their turn, double bolt on their upkeep. Like if they want to counter a lightning bolt. What on earth is this? You pay 1 in black rather than pay the spell's mana cost. 1 in black cost is paid, and opponent draws a card. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Ah, that gave them the card they needed to. Ragavan. They drew like an archive trap off that. I'm gonna be slightly perturbed. Hey, see, it all works out in the end. I wonder if they missed their turn there. Go. Ragavan. Shadow. It's not really doing anything. Here's another Ledger Shredder. And go. What you got? Don't kill me. Big bucks, no Tashas. Big bucks, no Tashas. This is like crab. Thing's still Tasha's, right? Tasha's is 2 in a blue. Frank's Sanity is the other one. Ravioli. They do, because they have to block the shadow. Now that they've tapped out. So I just need one of these Ledger Shredders, yeah, to flip over a live spell, and we're fine. He did. Take 8. Whew. All right. Mill. Mill. We had a league the other day where we played Mill like 2 or 3 times in one league. Weird. Definitely one of the matchups that Underworld Breach looks a little bit better in. Don't want Heat as much as I want Lightning Bolt, since Heat misses Ruin Crab. It hits Hedron Crab, dodges Ruin Crab. I think that's right. EE's not bad as like a one of, because you will see mill players running like engineered, or not engineered explosives, ensnaring bridge. Kind of comes down to, I want to consider something like, I'll just board out the terminate. Do I want to consider something like Leyline of the Void? But if they're running a bunch of Drown in the Locks, usually Leyline isn't as prevalent. No crab on one. All right. So I'm going to play out Ragavan. I'm going to play my 2 baubles. I'm not going to crack the baubles in case of Drown in the Lock. I'm going to wait and see if they decide to do something on their turn. Why they're doing all this on the stack, I have no idea. Have stack must make action. Hmm. They could drown. They go. You have the land for crab, which is a little unfortunate for us. Or are they going for all out, like Field of Ruin me? How important is this other? He's like 13 more cards. Because I can kill this crab now. I guess it's probably better to just wait. Stop the archive trap. They get another crab. Maybe I can find a land. Okay. They have Baleful Mastery as their last card. I can outclock a Baleful Mastery pretty well. I could also, like, Breach, Thoughtseize the Mastery, play a bunch of baubles. How do I feel about that? Like, get Watery Grave, Blood Crypt and Island to Breach. Thoughtseize them, take the Baleful Mastery. Bobble however many times I can. In the hopes that I can just hit like 4th land and be able to double shadow, hold up drown, and put them on like a 2-turn clock. The other option is get Watery Grave here. I think I'm going to go for the Breach. I think this is like not as flashy, but land off the top. 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Like, I'm 100% going all in on this this shadow plan working. If it doesn't, I just like don't have the draws to get out of it anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm not dead to another fetch land. Echoing Truth. Okay. Check my shock lands. There's a Blood Crypt and a Watery Grave gone. Blood Crypt, Watery Grave. So this cannot get. Like, this can get basic swamp, right? No swamp. No swamp. So yeah. Go here. Basic swamp. Shadow. Shadow. They're going to go to my turn to Echoing Truth. Murderous Cut. Ooh. This works out great for me. The Echoing Truth, I drown in the lock, I attack with both. They draw Murderous Cut. I've got like Spell Pierce plus Flusterstorm. Or if they mess up and let me cast a bunch of spells here, then I can Flusterstorm the Echoing Truth. No, I need to drown and lock the Echoing Truth because they're going to delve for Murderous Cut. So if I try to drown that, I'm not going to be able to resolve it. Okay. We figured out the line. Figured out the line. So attack with our shadows. Could dash Ragavan, but I kind of want to hold up all of my blue mana. I think if I just hold up like triple counterspell, there's no way I lose this game. Counter that. Hit with shadows. Play a shadow. They go. You draw Murderous Cut. Dash Ragavan just to show that it does not matter that you have Murderous Cut. Alright. Match number 5. 3-1. Reasonable league so far. Couple sketchy spots here and there. That round 1 loss to Burn was really rough, but that's kind of how it goes sometimes. What else did we play? Play against Scam. That one was pretty sketchy. Really, really fortunate game 1 win. Mill, we kind of ran over there. And the other one was what? Like, I'm always shocked at my ability to completely forget what I just played against. Like, we've only been playing this league for an hour and a half and couldn't tell you one of the matches. All right, so Blood Crypt. Blood Crypt lets us Lightning Bolt. We can decide if we want to bobble right away or if we want to wait. I guess that solves that quandary. Please don't force spike me. All right. Basic Island go. Mill into mill. Love to see it. Love to see it. I say, are they going to surgical extraction me? Gone crab. And I think I'm going to hold on to... Yeah, I think I'm going to hold on to the bobble to, like, make sure I can double spell next turn. Stop it. Stop. No moss crab. No moss crab. A lot of basic swamps. I kind of wonder if they're running, like, surgical or extirpate or something. This is very clearly not Tasha's Hideous Laughter mana. So let's go Bloodstained Mire to hand. Fence to the bottom. Thoughtseize to exile. I have fetch this game, so maybe they don't have an archive trap. Sorry, Bobble. Double Tasha's Hideous Laughter. And Visions Beyond. Oh, I don't think we're beating double of those if they resolve. Ooh. Ooh. Fan me off. Fan me off. Ooh. What a time to be alive. Ooh. Discard their Tashas into hit surgical extraction off their library with a second Tasha's in hand. Opponent, I don't know if you're a good sport about that in the chat or not. I'm really kind of afraid to look. But just know that if you end up watching this on YouTube, if somehow you wander onto the channel, I recognize that I need a lottery ticket after that one. I feel a little bit bad. I promise you it was not my intention to do that. But I'm not going to turn it down either. Ooh. Just in case you are salty, I don't want to bring it up into the video. But I feel like if you're playing mill, you got to be a good sport about those situations, right? Oro crab. Crab people. Crab people. Dark Slick Shores off the top. So let's go ahead and Blood Crypt. Bolt the crab. Dodge an archive trap. That's really nice. Real question is, are we also going to dodge our second land drop? We are not. We are S tier gamers. All right, let's go for the Thoughtseize. That'll help us decide if we want a Shadow or Monkey here. The Tasha's and a Fraying Sanity. I think I want to just Monkey. I think Monkey getting a mana advantage to get like the Drown in the Locks going is a lot better for me. Fractured Sanity. Magic card. Please don't be a fetch land. Actually, I wouldn't mind a fetch land. I've got double drown up if it's a fetch land. Draw surgical extraction. Okay. We are. We're doing that. We are doing that one. Alright, I see you typing again in chat, and I apologize. Can only apologize so much. But I really don't want to like get into a chat and see somebody if they're salty. Like I just don't like saltiness, so I try to avoid it best I can. Rude. All right, well at least I don't get to draw 6, so that's kind of a plus. Shredder's Dees. So no shock lands to be found in my graveyard. So let's go ahead and fetch and shock for a shadow. And I'm probably just going to bolt myself here to make the shadow a 2-turn clock. Or no, I can just fetch and shock. What am I talking about? Got one unknown card. Do have another shock land. Let's attack. Play Ledger Shredder. They go. Archive Trap's fine. That doesn't kill me. Not countering it because worst case scenario would be opponent untaps, draws something like an ensnaring bridge and gets that down under counter spell or under drown and lock. And that would be much worse for me. So end up with a 4-1. We beat Mill a couple times. We lost to Burn. We beat Scam. And I really could not tell you what the last match was. Let's see. Maybe I can get a reminder from the modern metagame. So Scam we beat. Burn we lost to. 2 Mill decks. Beat both of those. And the last one was something. Oh, Eldrazian taxes. That's what it was. Or mono white taxes with displacer or something like that. But cards that really shined. Underworld Breach did a really fantastic job for us, just being like a good value play several times, which I am starting to get the impression that, at least to me, Underworld Breach has been way more consistent of a value play, less consistent of a win condition. It's usually like Breach plus Thoughtseize or Breach plus removal spell, play a threat, something like that. And less Breach bolt you out, or like Breach double shadow Thoughtseize, something insane like that that our opponent can't recover from. Um, Otherwise, in the main deck, Drown was probably like Drown and Ledger Shredder, I think, are still like some of the weaker cards in the deck. Drown looked really good when you play against Mill a bunch, but then when you play against like mono white taxes and they've got Sanctifier on deck, all of a sudden, like, Drown's pretty rough. Or Burn. Burn with Sanctifier on deck is horrendous to play against with Drown. Ledger Shredder, still such an underwhelming threat. Like, there's a bunch of games that we win where we have Ledger Shredder. It's like a 2-4 or a 3-5 or something, where you start thinking like, okay, we won with Ledger Shredder, but in reality, if it had been any other threat, we would have won with it just as well. And if it had been a bigger threat, we would have won easier. So that's one of the things I want to keep in mind whenever we're trying to assess Ledger Shredder. Ragavan, great. Channeler, great. Shadow, great. Spell Pierce, I still think is like phenomenal in the main deck. But if you don't want to play Spell Pierce and you just want to play like more high end stuff, go for it. Dress Down really showed out that league for me. Stopping not only Eldrazi Displacer for a win against taxes, it stopped our Scam opponent from getting to Seasoned Pyromancer when they wanted to, or Grief. It stopped Grief as well. We didn't see a lot of Turok matches. I think the matchups that Turok is good against are on the decline. Like less Solitude decks, less mono white removal decks. So maybe I want to cut back to a single Turok. Terminate was great. Hearse, I don't think ever really came up, but I've been getting like less and less on Hearse. But either way, that's where we're at. Hope you enjoyed this league. Maybe you learned something from it. As always, if you're wanting to check out a live stream, the link is down below, as well as the link to the Discord. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your day. Stay safe, enjoy some good food and company. Catch you later.